Hey, welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Diane, your lactation consultant.
And I'm Abby, the Badass Breastfeeder. And today's episode is brought to you by Fairhaven Health. Fairhaven Health brings you the Milk Saver on the go, the mini version of the wildly popular original Milk Saver that collects your leaking breast milk. And we'll hear more from this about this product after our review of the week.
Yeah, our review of the week is from Lucy 4489, and she says that she loves that we keep it simple. I love your podcast. I've been listening for a couple months now. My son is almost 18 months, and I truly wish I found you guys earlier. When I first had him, I had so much trouble breastfeeding because of a true tongue and lip tie. I had it revised at 8 weeks, and it saved my breastfeeding journey. We're still nursing at 18 months. Prior to his revision, I had met with at least 6 or 7 lactation consultants and La Leche League until finally someone said it was a tie. I exhausted all my other options before revising, so that was it. All right, back to praising you guys. You ladies are amazing. I love that you guys take all the crazy, complicated breastfeeding advice you hear and uncomplicate it. You remind us every week that breastfeeding is nature. It's simple. Society has truly complicated it. I've been looking into becoming a lactation consultant because of how much passion I have for the field. I relate to both of you so much. You both have the same sense of humor as I do. More moms should listen to the podcast. It truly has made a difference. Because of you guys, the number one piece of advice I give new moms is trust your body. Thank you. Oh, that's so great.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Thank you.
And I mean, there are days, I am not even kidding, where I go through life and I'm like, why is everything being made so hard for these mothers? Everything is so freaking
I think we have a
complicated.
weekly text conversation about this.
It drives me crazy.
Like inevitably, like one of us we'll get a message or we'll run into some piece of information that just like makes us so angry, and then text each other, and then Diane is like, we have to do something about this.
We have to save everybody.
We need to just do all these things to change the world. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired.
I know. I know. I get so frustrated with this to the point where I'm just like, what? Am I wrong? Like, are we wrong? Or is it?
No, I think
is it really that hard?
Is
it that
really
hard? We're the one
out of hand.
I mean, it is out of hand. It is out of hand. Yeah.
The nonsense is just insane.
Yeah. So we're glad that you guys found us, and we love to be able to try to like simplify things a little bit for you if we can.
I feel like that has to be like really, I mean, I know obviously evidence-based is first and foremost, but I feel like the best thing you can do for people who are trying to get through life and trying to be successful with breastfeeding is to take that and turn it into like practical things that you can be doing and that can help you be successful. Right. Like I used to work at a residential facility. I was a therapist there, and we would have all these clinical meetings and all these clinical discussions about these kids. And I'm like, this doesn't help either the staff or the kids. You know, like this is all very important for us to kind of come up with a treatment plan and overall picture of this child. But we need to be able to talk to the staff about what to do when the child is upset, what to do, you know, when things are getting out of hand or when they're starting to become escalated, and like talk to the child about like how to deal with this in real life. Like, I don't know. I just really feel like I want to do that with this podcast too.
I know.
Make it user friendly.
Right. Yes. I'm there. I'm in.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's what I hope. That's what I hope my goal is. Cause I feel like you can find so much stuff. You can find things that are very like, shallow and not very practical. And then you can find things that are very clinical and very sciencey. And it's like, where's the, like, what do I do? Yeah. You know, like somebody just tell me what to do. What's the right information and what do I do?
Right. And it really, like some of the things that we get, you know, there are definitely some complicated situations, like you're saying, but overall, like when we get situations where people say, oh, well, you know, my doctor said that I'm not eating enough and that's why I don't have enough milk. It's like, that's the kind of thing where I'm like, that is not happening. This has nothing to do with the food you're eating. And this is why we're complicating things, because we're telling mothers they're not doing the right thing. And we're telling them this based on nothing. So that is where the frustration lies. And it just is like, why are we making this so hard? This has been going on for 1,000,000 years. People have been breastfeeding since life began. So why are we making it now so difficult? I don't know.
I know. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, and we can get into why it's why we're making it so difficult for people who are trying to breastfeed if we want to have another society talk about how we treat parents and women and all that stuff.
Yes. But that isn't even what the podcast is about this week.
That's not
folks.
fine. Yeah. Whatever. Back to the topic at hand.
But we'll get there.
At hand?
Yeah. We do have a good one now. We have a good topic.
Yeah, we do. Why don't you tell them what it is? Because I don't think we even decided which one we were going to do first.
Oh. Well. All right, I'll go.
I'm prepared, fully prepared to talk about both. I just need to know which fork to go down right now.
So I think we should talk about the dental thing, and I think that because I almost just brought it up a second ago because of why people are making things so difficult.
Yes, let's do this one. Yes, this is awesome.
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody has listened in the past to our first episode that we did about cavities, and I can't remember when it was that we even did that one.
It was a while ago now.
It was
because I actually post that to people quite a lot, and I'm always, I mean, time flies, but I'm always like, wow, it's a while ago. It's a really good. We really should bring this back. So,
but now we have more to add to that, and we can go off on that for another half an hour. So we always like it when we can, repeat the same topic twice with new information.
Yeah, totally. And this time we have the most complicated, expensive, and just over budget, like possible, like actual scientific study and experiment that was done that we can tell you about.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just blown away at how much they put into this study.
Now,
I'm totally being sarcastic.
I know. When I sent it to you, was that the first time you saw it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I know.
Well, I mean, the first time, yeah.
It's fascinating. The results are fascinating, but the fact that they actually had to go through all this is like,
I know. And then the results are, I mean, it's just awesome. Let's do it because it's awesome.
It is. So this study, I'm going to pull up the thing right now. This study was done, and this was done last May. So this is so recent. Really it's not even a year old. And I'm going to read the thing. In a study conducted in May of 2019, scientists took baby teeth and soaked them in breast milk, formula, and a probiotic-containing formula for 1 week, and then measured the change in the minerals. They found soaking baby teeth in breast milk substantially increased the amount of calcium in the teeth and slightly decreased their amount of phosphorus. But the teeth soaked in formula lost significant amounts of both minerals. A systemic review of the literature on cavities and breastfeeding in July of 2019 concluded that the highest level evidence indicated that breastfeeding for more than 24 months did not increase the risk of cavities for children. Did not. And a 2014 study found that children were more likely to have cavities by 5 years old if they breastfed for less than 6 months than if they breastfed for at least 6 months. The current theory is that the rich microbiome of human milk helps to establish oral and intestinal floras, and this may provide protection against the development of cavities. And then they had the links to the studies, which we'll put in our show notes. And that way, if anybody else is like geeks out on this research stuff like we do, you can totally look it up. But this, I love it because they put the teeth, the actual baby teeth, in the substances, in the milk, in the formula, in a formula with probiotic, and they still saw even the stuff that's added to, we add all this stuff to formula because it's just to make it just like breast milk, to make it give the same benefits as breast milk. It's all the same now. Don't even worry about it. Blah, blah, blah. Mess those teeth up, man.
My favorite part is picturing a bunch of researchers in white coats and this big discussion going on for decades about whether breast milk rots teeth. And then finally, one of them being like, guys, I've got an idea. Why don't we just take the teeth and soak it?
Soak them.
Let's just soak one in breast milk and one in formula and see what happens. Like, I just love that. I just can't stop laughing at thinking about that.
No,
it's like, duh.
Right.
Why didn't we do this from the beginning?
Right. Now, of course, people can argue it wasn't a huge sample size, but whatever. And I mean, I know that's when you're researching stuff. But
whatever.
Important.
That's the scientific word for more research will come down the line.
Right. Exactly. And I know that kids basically aren't keeping their teeth soaked in, formula or breast milk or whatever for a week at a time. So it's excessive, but it shows that over time, constant introduction of these chemicals is going to erode your teeth.
And that breast milk doesn't.
Right.
This is the thing that's being told to so many people. You have to stop breastfeeding at night. You have to stop when they get teeth. You have to do all this stuff because breast milk will rot their teeth. And I said it in the last episode, but I was at a conference with Dr. Jay Gordon, who was taking all these questions from the audience. And somebody asked about cavities. And he was like, look, we would be a dead branch on the evolutionary tree if human milk rotted human teeth.
Right. Like it doesn't
make any sense that the milk that is made from our bodies for our babies is rotting their teeth and causing all this damage.
Right. There's no reason why we should even believe anything like that. But when a dentist or your pediatrician or, somebody else, hence go back to last week's episode and listen to that, tells you this, you're like, okay, well, they've been to school for a zillion years and did clinical and, do this every day of their life. So they must be right. This is my first baby. How would I know?
Exactly.
And I don't want my kids' teeth to rot, so I better do what they say.
Right. I mean, nobody's ever thought about whether breast milk is rotting their baby's teeth out before. Right. No one's ever thought about that. So you're not going to be like, oh, well, of course that's not true because, breast milk came from my body and it's natural and it wouldn't do that. Like, those aren't your thoughts.
Right.
Your thoughts are just like, oh, crap. My baby has cavities. It's because of my breast milk. Oh, no.
I better stop.
Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Right.
I got to do this differently. I'm doing it wrong.
And I want all moms out there, like, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, but, with my first baby I did, or with this baby, that's what they told me, so I did stop. That is not your fault.
No, I mean.
That is not your fault. Like, we are just saying, like, this is society. Like, this is how we get on our soapbox about society all the time, because this really horrible information is being put out there and we believe it. I mean, not just even with babies, like, we believe all sorts of stuff. I'm sure there's stuff that I do all the time, especially when it comes to like food and diet and my kid. Like, somebody says one thing and you're like, oh yeah, I better, that must be true. That must be right. And you just follow it. It's not your fault. If you happen to follow their advice and then you learn later on, okay, maybe that wasn't the best advice to follow. It just happens. But
yeah, I mean, the misinformation out there that's screwing up everybody's breastfeeding relationship is like not our fault. Yeah, it's not. It's out there. That's why we do this.
Yeah, that's why we do this.
Is so that people that are people right now can know for the future, and people. I mean, yeah. Next week we'll talk about then what happens when you look back and you're like, oh, I did something wrong, and then you feel bad about it. But join the club.
Oh my God. From now until the end of time for parenting.
Right. Exactly.
It really, the thing, I don't even know really where it got started. I know when we did the dental thing whenever the last episode was. I was going to say a couple months ago, but I have no idea when it was. It was longer than that. Yeah, it was longer than I have zero sense of time. I'll tell you that. So when we did it, I remember like looking up the American Dental Association, and even in their guidelines, they say, keep breastfeeding. It's recommended. The Dental Association recommends breastfeeding, blah, blah, blah. So I don't even know where that got started, where people were like, oh, it rots teeth.
I know. I mean, like, I've got my, my conspiracy theories about all this breastfeeding information. But when it comes down to these little things like breast milk is rotting babies' teeth, it's just like, why? And how? How did this start? Like, what is this nonsense?
And why only at night? Why doesn't it rot them during the day?
Right. That's my favorite thing, too. You have to stop at night, because at night, why is it suddenly just at night when your breast milk turns into this, like, toxic waste acid that's burning your baby's mouth away? Like, how? Well, it's not like that during the day. It's just, it's like it's nighttime. Werewolf or something that just comes out at night.
Like, it doesn't, and if we really think about it, and at the time when people say this stuff to us, and sometimes it isn't even like I'm throwing Dennis under the bus. Sometimes it isn't even that. Sometimes it's like your mom or, the babysitter or whoever might say, oh, but isn't that bad for their teeth? And you go, oh, I don't know. Is it bad for their teeth? But you don't even think to question it at the time. Like, why would it be? Why would it be bad? It's like those are things that you think about way later on and you realize, okay, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Because it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we, like, when you think of, like, old wives' tales and, like, certain, like, legends and stories that get passed down in different, like, cultures and stuff. When we think of ourselves as, like, being kind of distanced from that in this, like, really industrial kind of world that we live in here in the West, so distanced from nature and from, like, the sense of community and villages, and stuff like that, where information is generally, where that information used to be and still is in those communities passed down. But we still have it. We still have that. Like, stuff is being passed down and passed around all the time. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is just not, a lot of it's just not true.
Not true at all.
It's just this thing, like, you're going to go outside with wet hair, you're going to get pneumonia. Double pneumonia. That's what I used to hear. You get double pneumonia. What is that?
What is double pneumonia?
Nothing.
How do you get double pneumonia? Is it in both lungs? What happens there?
I don't know, but it doesn't happen when you go outside with wet hair. I really don't think it does.
No, and we are also told forever, if you go outside without a coat on, you're going to get sick. So, I grew up.
Yeah, being sick has nothing to do with germs. It just has to do with, like, how cold you are.
But that's what we always heard.
Yep.
Forever.
Totally.
And it's like, when you really think, and I honestly, like, I get really upset sometimes about things that carried on through my whole life. And I really learn, like, where it came from or how it started and how it has nothing to do with anything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like, that is crazy that we believe these things.
Yeah.
Or
when
that
I was,
we change practice, we change our whole lives around this thing. And it's not even a thing.
It's not even a thing.
It's not even a thing.
When I was young, I was a swimmer, and I would get ear infections like we do. Mm-hmm. And my mom would be like, okay, here, you have to lay down on the side with your the sore ear, like, on the couch with, like, a heating pad. And so, I'd do that, and then I'd be, like, whining and crying because it hurts. Yeah. Like, horrible. And like, I don't know, I remember it was, like, recently, like, in the last couple of years, I was talking about putting a heating pad on ear infection. My mom's like, what? And I was like, well, that's what you told me when I always got ear infections. She's like, oh, I just told you that so you would stop whining.
Oh my gosh.
But I thought it was a real thing.
Oh God.
And I, like, just found out now. She's just like, oh, I was just trying to, like, manage you, like, I just wanted you to, like,
shut up already.
Be quiet. I don't go to sleep or whatever. But I would have, if she had never told me that, I would have been having my kids lay down on the couch with their ear on a heating pad for no reason.
Oh my gosh. See, it's the old wives' tales.
Yeah. And it's not even, she totally made it up on the spot. She didn't even hear it from anybody. It wasn't even like a, an old romantic thing. It was just gosh.
But that's how easy it is to do.
Yep.
That is how easy it is.
I mean, you think about just the experience of kids growing up constantly talking about all the things that they heard from their parents. And we should talk more about it after a word from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Fairhaven Health. The Milky's Milk Saver on the go is a mini version of the original Milk Saver loved by so many. The original Milk Saver is perfect for using on the opposite breast while breastfeeding to collect the letdown. But what about in between feedings or when you're out and about? The Milk Saver on the go is a discreet breast milk collection system designed to collect leaking breast milk when you are not feeding so you don't waste any more breast milk to a breast pad. The breast shells can be tucked right inside your shirt and then place your nipple right into the hole. The unique oblong shape allows you to collect more milk than other brands. Each shell holds 1 ounce of milk, and people are collecting several ounces a day to add to their stash. It's not a pump. There is no work for you to do. It also helps protect your sore nipples from rubbing and chafing while they heal. Head to fairhavenhealth.com. That's FAIRHAVEN health.com and use promo code BADASS for 10% off of your purchase. And all of our sponsor links and the promo codes that go with them can be found at badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com, along with all of our breastfeeding resources, all of our other episodes, our show notes with links and further information about this episode, and information about scheduling your lactation consultation with Diane. And I have this week's breastfeeding tip of the week.
I love these.
know. I think they're fun.
They are.
And I think this one is really sweet. Justine Nicole Singleton from Facebook. She says, my husband with our first son said, you can do it. The first day is the hardest. The second day came and he said, don't give up. The second day is the hardest. Every day that I wanted to give up, my husband would tell me I could do it and that day was the hardest. We made it 22 months. And I love that level of support. It's so cute. It's just so sweet that somebody is just there cheering you on every day, telling you that this moment right now is going to be the hardest and that you're going to get through it just like you did yesterday. And the moment will pass.
It's fantastic because everybody needs that kind of cheerleader.
Especially in parenting.
Yeah. Well, that is really great. Congratulations, Justine. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I post on Facebook and Instagram. I'll post every couple of weeks a little question that people can answer, and then if you put your answer there, we go through and we'll pick our favorites and read them on Breastfeeding Tip of the Week.
So I hope that everybody follows us. So Abby is on Facebook as the Badass Breastfeeder, and I am on Facebook as Diane Cassidy Consulting. And Abby is on Instagram as the same thing. And I'm on Instagram as the same thing. So definitely follow us if you're not already following us, because we put out really good information and tips and giveaways. Like there's tons of stuff. So if you're a social media person, although lately I hate Facebook.
Me too.
But
I'm still there.
I know.
I'm trucking through it because people like it.
That's the only I only do my business stuff. Like I'm trying not to even like look at my personal page as much because people are pissing me off. But I really, really love that we can spread information, good information, true information this way. So
yeah, it's true. It's a good way to reach people. So is the podcast. I mean, we're kind of everywhere.
Yeah. And we're
taking over.
We're taking over. And we always share the podcast on these, on social media. So if you have a friend that you're like, oh, hey, let me send you this link. Like I actually did that for a friend of mine today. His son and daughter-in-law just had a baby 2 weeks ago. And he was like, send me the link to the podcast so I can send it to them. So it's like, makes it easy when it's right there in front of you on social media. So
true. And I'm going to put this on badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com. I just thought of it. But currently it's only on the badassbreastfeeder.com. But if you go to the badassbreastfeeder.com, there's a sign up tab and you can sign up to have the podcast sent to your email every week.
Do it.
So if you don't want to, if you like forget or you're like, I can't remember to like find this podcast every week or whatever, you can just sign up and I'll send it to you and you don't have to look for it.
Yeah. Fantastic. Back to teeth, right?
Cavities. Rotting teeth. They soaked them in breast milk.
Oh my God.
It's genius. It's just genius. I kind of want to do it. I want to take, because I have all my kids' teeth. I mean, I wouldn't do this, but I do have my dog's teeth just as a...
Do you really?
Some of them that I found around the house because he was a puppy when we got him. So it was like he was teething and his teeth were falling out. So I have a few of them. I kind of want to do it like with breast milk. I have some breast milk. I could do it with formula. I could do it with Coke.
Oh my gosh.
You know what would happen there? Or like an energy drink. Orange juice. You
should do it with the kids because you do a lot of that experimental scientific
stuff. I totally
stuff.
should. Yes. As a homeschooler, we're always kind of looking for things to, yeah.
So that brings me to another thing. I have my kids' teeth too. People think that's weird.
Really? Why are you supposed to throw them away?
I think that's what people do with them.
No way. My dad still has my teeth.
Does he really?
He has my teeth in a plastic bag in the top of his dresser drawer. Yep.
Yeah. So I still have my kids' teeth. The ones that they lost when they were with me because, their father and I were split. Mm-hmm. So sometimes they were with him and I don't know what he did with them. And
wow, that is just like such a image of like living between two homes.
Oh my gosh.
It's like even your baby teeth are split between two parents.
It really is just, terrible. But if anybody else is going through that, I can help you. If not, just to say I feel you because I get it. We split when they were very, very, very young. Before they were even losing their teeth, we split up. So I do have their teeth. And they even think it's weird. They're like, what? Like, yeah, I couldn't throw them away. I just couldn't. I couldn't throw them away.
No way. I would never throw them away.
No, I have their hair from their first haircut, just like all those things. And I just couldn't, I just couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah, you can make stuff with them too. You can have like people that make that breast milk jewelry and stuff, which we have a sponsor coming that makes breast milk jewelry. Milkies, they make breast milk jewelry, and you can add like locks of hair, their teeth.
That is so cool.
Umbilical cord. Yeah, you can add all kinds of stuff.
Oh, it is really just so cool. But I know we keep getting on a tirade, but the teeth thing, like, if you hear this somewhere along the way, please feel free to educate people, because it is not a thing. It is not something that happens. A lot of the dental stuff is genetic. It's
totally.
It's genetic. If kids start getting cavities, like, look into your history, look into your partner's history. It's a really difficult thing. And then we just want to pinpoint it on something. Well, we can't pinpoint, we can't blame, we can't find the blame for every little thing that happens.
No. No. I mean, I have such terrible teeth. I have cavities all the time. My husband's never had cavities. Yeah. Is it because I was breastfed and he wasn't? No. That's not even, he was breastfed.
It just,
it doesn't, it's not related.
No. But if you
genetics, definitely.
Yeah. So it just, and I try to tell my kids that all the time. Like, me and my sisters all have really good teeth. My ex-husband does not. I remember his mom saying she didn't. All of them having dental problems all along. And I kept telling my kids from a very young age, like, it's in your history. It's in your genetics. You got to take care of your teeth. But there's only so much you can control.
Well, and you can, if you have bad teeth passed down to you, you can do all that you want. Right. And you still might get cavities.
But I feel better now, like, seeing this study going, okay, I did something to help them. So I always knew, of course, that it wasn't bad for you to breastfeed, but I didn't know it actually made the teeth stronger.
I know, that's awesome. That also makes sense.
Substantially increase the amount of calcium. So what you're doing is making your baby's teeth stronger by breastfeeding, not taking away. You're adding to them.
Right. I mean, but that's logical.
Right. Yeah.
It's logical that this stuff that your body makes for your baby would be like doing all these good things, not ruining everything. Burning holes in you and like taking nutrients away from you, and it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. And I know that every once in a while we all we hear this bad stuff and we're like, all right, is that really true? And you just need somebody to say, that that's not true. That that's not, and this is why. And this is one of those things. Somewhere in your breastfeeding relationship, especially for you mamas who are just starting out, maybe you just had your baby yesterday, somebody will probably tell you that your baby's teeth will have cavities if you breastfeed.
They're going to tell you something.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're going to tell you a lot of things. It is crazy. Now, your dentist, didn't you say that you had a dentist that told you that about the kids?
Yes. So, yeah, we had, I don't even remember which dentist. Oh, yeah, the very first dentist that we went to that we never went back to was like, so you have to be careful with the breastfeeding because it's got a lot of sugar in it, and so it can cause cavities. And I'm just like, okay, breast milk and a Hershey's bar.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
I know.
Lady.
No, it's not. And sometimes they'll say, it's the bottle or it's, nighttime because it's pooling in their mouth. It's like, no, it's not.
No,
your baby isn't laying there with
breast milk.
Yeah, they're not laying there with milk pooled in their mouth, by the way. Who sleeps with liquid in their mouth? Nobody does.
No, and who have you ever seen the we should put a picture of this on the website, the image of the cut image of inside of a baby's mouth, how far the breast is pulled back.
Yep, past the teeth.
Your nipple is being pulled to the back of their mouth, to the top of their throat.
Yeah.
Just not even touching their teeth.
And if your dentist or doctor thinks that you're breastfeeding and the nipple is at their teeth, then we need to go back to day one of breastfeeding, because that's not going to feel good for anybody.
No. Yeah. You would know that was happening.
Yeah. None of it's logical at all. None of it is logical.
Are you
Exley's here.
Hi,
Exley has pretty good teeth, right? Although has had a few cavities.
Wow.
But I will say that the past couple of dentists that we've seen they've asked, but they have not handed out the random kind of just like, well, that's why he has cavities. Like, and that's the other thing is like, your job is to fix their teeth.
Right.
I don't need, all of your opinions about where it possibly came from.
Right.
Your job as a dentist is to just fix their teeth. So that's it.
It is like...
We can move on with your opinions.
Right. The judging I've had enough of the judging. It's not okay. And I remember like even a few years ago, my boys had braces and they were supposed to wear their retainers and didn't. And then, they were only at my house part of the time. They're at my house way more now, and they rarely sleep at their father's. But at the time when they were younger, they would sleep there, a couple nights a week and stuff. And he didn't really look at it. And, nobody really knew what was going on with the retainer situation. And my oldest son's teeth moved. Actually, both of them, their teeth moved. And the judgment and the freaking lecture that I got from the orthodontist, I never went back.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? Maybe you should stand there in front of my 14-year-old and watch him sleep and make him put a retainer in and make him wear it all the time when you're only with him part of the time. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah. And I don't understand how the like medical professional role in our life has become this one of just, authority and, judgment and disdain. Like, why aren't we partners? Why aren't we like, why
right.
is it like I'm in charge and you need to listen and I'm going to talk down to you? Like,
Right. Agreed.
I think it's strange.
Yeah. So going forward, your breast milk does not have too much sugar in it. And I'm even going to say, I'm going to go out on that limb of the tree branch that's dead, or whatever the doctor said.
Yeah, the dead branch on the
dead branch on the
tree.
evolutionary tree. I'm going to go out on that dead branch and say that even if you eat a Hershey bar, your milk is still not going to be too sugary. Pretty sure.
Oh my God, no, yeah. Oh yeah, if you eat a lot of candy, your breast milk gets sugarier.
Well, I mean, come on, that only makes as much sense.
I can see people really jumping on that one.
Yeah, no. So don't even worry about it. Eat all the Hershey bars you want.
Yep, have fun.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.